Welcome back to Golden Rule Radio, your weekly recap of the precious metals markets. And we're going to do just that this week as we prepare here in Colorado for a little bit of a snowstorm. So we're going to do a quick snapshot, follow up from Rob and my conversation last week, and take a look at some of the returns we've had in the gold market as we're in the midst of what we think is a B-wave, Elliott wave correction that we discussed last week. So starting off with gold, we mentioned last week we saw gold come down to its first potential correction level, that 382 fib, as you can see on the chart here, and below the longer-term 200-day moving average. Now, what we've seen since then is not a lot of anything. Gold is inched below, then pushed back above, and is now sitting just above that 382 fib line. My gut still tells me we could see a little bit more downwards momentum in gold as we pull the drawstring back, getting ready for that next push up that a lot of people are expecting. And when we take a look at the equities market here in a minute, I think you'll understand why we do think we're going to see further upside momentum in gold this year. So if we do see gold continue down, certainly we're targeting somewhere in the low 18, maybe high 1700s mark as a good potential spot to turn around. But it is also possible that if gold is as strong as a lot of people think it is, you actually could see gold start to lift from here. So I think the next week or two is going to be rather telling in the gold market. Should we see gold begin to climb from here, maybe push back up into the low 1900s, that would be an incredibly strong and very shallow reversal that we've seen since we peaked out back in February. Quick glance over at silver. Silver kind of led gold out and has come down further. We mentioned this last week as well, as silver had exceeded that first correction level, the 382, and gone all the way down to a 50% retracement. We've had a nice bounce back up to the 382, but we're still significantly below the 200-day moving average. It's possible you could actually see silver continue to climb here, even if it's not done going down. But as we talked about previously, it feels like silver is leading gold right now. And it's possible silver may have already put in its bottom in this move and may be on its way back up to test that 200-day moving average, to test this rising floor that we broke below that you can see on the chart here, and possibly move back into the trading range it was in through the end of last year between about 23 and 25. So it wouldn't surprise me if silver is leading gold out here, that we could see silver begin to climb. Gold will find its bottom, follow suit eventually in the next couple of weeks. And with silver leading gold for a few weeks, we could see some compression back down in that ratio, which between gold and silver has gotten back up into the mid-80s. So I would almost argue if you want to know what gold's going to do over the next couple of weeks, let's pay a little bit closer attention to silver because I think it may tell us. Now, I mentioned one of the big reasons I think we could see gold turn sooner than we think it might is because of what we're seeing in the Dow Industrial Average and the stock market as a whole. So if we take a look at the Dow here, you'll notice that going back to November, December, granted, we did have a really nice kind of corrective move back up in third quarter of last year in the Dow from below 29,000 back up to over 34,000. The problem is we've yet to put in any higher high, and it's tried. It's tried multiple times to put in a higher price, and has actually put in a lower price each time that it's come back up. So you can see the declining trend line here with some increasing floors. And those are the things I'm targeting now, as over the last week, the equities market has taken a pretty good dive, and we're back down to kind of the end of January levels at around 32,950. So there are two numbers I'm looking for on the Dow if we were to break below that, 32,950, which was that January low, and then about 32,580, which we hit right there at the end of December. If we see the Dow Industrials pushing below that pricing, it's very likely we're going to see significantly lower lows in the Dow, possibly even as low as we saw back in October, around 29,000. So that's something I would definitely pay attention to, not only silver over the next week or two and what silver's doing and how it's reacting, but also where's the Dow going over the next week or two, because we could see some significant breaks down, which tells me that we're going to be probably giving up a good portion, if not all, of the gain that the Dow made through third and fourth quarter last year. Now, I think that's seconded by the strength in the U.S. dollar. We've been waiting for kind of a breakout move in the dollar, which we got a little bit of at the beginning of February, and now the dollar has continued to trail up since then. We're sitting just above 104. My upside target on the dollar has been in the 107s. I think it's completely reasonable to see the dollar get back up another couple points from here after the significant decline we had since October. Wouldn't surprise me at all. If we see the dollar continue to rally here, it had a significant decline for a few months, get back up to around a 107 mark. That would be a very healthy reversal back up. But then unfortunately, we may continue the trend of the dollar declining throughout the rest of 2023. There's not a lot of faith in the value of the U.S. dollar from the Federal Reserve all the way down to the average American, and I think it's starting to show. Granted, it was wonderful as interest rates went up last year to see some strength in the dollar that we haven't seen in over a decade, but short-lived, unfortunately, in the minds of the average American, as you and I all know, that our average costs at the grocery store and the gas station are starting to go up pretty significantly in some cases. So I do think that this is going to be a very telling week for the precious metals market. I think it hinges on the direction that we see the white metals go, especially silver. Is silver going to continue to lead gold on the upside like it has done on the downside? But more importantly, are we going to see the dollar continue the trend, at least the short-term trend over the next few weeks or month that we're expecting, slightly higher pricing in the U.S. dollar index, which probably also leads to slightly lower pricing in the equities market. So it's going to be a very telling end of February, beginning of March for what the rest of 2023 is probably going to look like as we move into the end of first quarter and beginning of second quarter. Continue to pay attention. We'll keep bringing you the updates on the market each week here on Golden Rule Radio. If you'd like to speak with one of the advisors about your personal portfolio, please give us a call at McAlvany Precious Metals. We can be reached at 800-525-9556. You can also find us on Twitter at ICA Gold or Facebook at McAlvany Financial. Thanks again for joining us. Look forward to speaking with you again next week.